What happens when trust is shattered? When the people you've given everything to, your time, your love, your money, turn their backs on you. Is there any way back? For Janelle Brown, this question has haunted her for years. She thought she was building a future, a family. But was it all just a lie? But the betrayal wasn't just financial. It ran much deeper. When Kody Brown said, "Eggs dropping," it wasn't just a slip, it exposed the painful truth. A family with the power to shape lives, but no understanding of how to protect them. Part 1. Janelle Brown was once the picture of loyalty. A devoted wife in a polygamous marriage, she stood by Kody's side through thick and thin. She was not just a wife, she was a partner, helping build the family's business, investing her time and money into what she believed was a shared dream. Janelle, I always thought we were building something together. We had big dreams, and I truly believed in them. But what Janelle didn't know was that those dreams were about to be shattered, and the financial sacrifices she made would soon turn into an inescapable burden. It all started with a debt. Kody, the patriarch of the family, promised to settle a financial obligation to Janelle. But over time, that promise was ignored. What was meant to be a temporary loan, something that could be paid back, turned into a long, unresolved issue. On Reddit, fans have been voicing their concerns, with many feeling that Janelle's money was never really seen as a loan at all. Instead, it was treated like a gift, something that could be forgotten, something that Kody never intended to repay. Kody, I just never saw the need to rush with paying her back. It was part of our family system. Money isn't always something I see as a transactional thing between us. But for Janelle, money was not just a thing. It was her security, her future. And Kody's failure to acknowledge the debt felt like a betrayal. Enter Robyn Brown, the newest and most controversial member of the family. Robyn, who became Kody's legal wife, quickly found herself at the center of the Brown family's turmoil. Many fans argue that Robyn's presence may have made the situation worse. With Kody's focus shifting to his new marriage, it seemed like Janelle's financial concerns were being ignored, and some even suggest that Robyn had a hand in making the situation even more complicated. Robyn, I am just here to support Kody. I want the best for all of us, but I can't make decisions for everyone. But some viewers wonder, was Robyn's desire to fit into the family dynamic putting additional strain on Janelle? Was she inadvertently, or even deliberately, causing more friction between the wives? As the financial drama unfolded, the fans weren't silent. The online backlash grew louder. Fans began accusing Kody of not just failing to repay his debt to Janelle, but of taking advantage of her loyalty. They called it an emotional and financial betrayal. And when Robyn's influence became apparent, the criticism turned on her as well. Kody's behavior is disgraceful, one Reddit user wrote. He used Janelle for years, and Robyn is just adding fuel to the fire. The family's reputation was on the line, and fans were demanding answers. But here's the twist that no one saw coming. In an unexpected turn, Janelle decided to take matters into her own hands. Janelle, I had enough. It wasn't just about the money, it was about my dignity. I couldn't keep pretending that everything was okay. Kody promised to pay me back, but I had to realize, he wasn't going to. Janelle finally came to terms with the truth. The family system she had believed in so deeply wasn't going to work for her anymore. The fallout from Janelle's realization was swift. Kody, Robyn, and the other wives felt the shift in Janelle's attitude. The tension in the Brown household grew unbearable. "Kody, I didn't know she felt that way. But I guess I should have paid more attention." Kody's words felt hollow. For Janelle, the emotional toll was overwhelming. What had started as a financial issue was now a deeply personal betrayal. Janelle's departure from the Brown family was inevitable. She realized that no amount of love or loyalty could make up for the years of financial exploitation. It was time to put herself first. As Janelle moves forward, we're left to ask, was this the final nail in the coffin for the Brown family dynamic? Will Kody's financial betrayal come back to haunt him? Part 2. It's no secret that Sister Wives has been a lightning rod for controversy. But one recent comment made by Kody Brown stirred up an unexpected storm. During a conversation on air, he mentioned eggs dropping, in a context that left many viewers confused, and more than a little disturbed. "Kody, you know, when the eggs start dropping, that's when things really change." While Kody's words might have seemed innocent at first glance, they were met with an immediate backlash. To some, the comment felt out of touch, revealing a misunderstanding of basic biology. As soon as Kody's words aired, fans took to Reddit to express their disbelief. Some were baffled, others outraged, and many couldn't resist mocking the statement. The backlash on Reddit was swift and unforgiving. One user wrote, "I can't believe Kody said that. Eggs don't just drop out of nowhere." Others pointed out that the comment didn't just miss the mark, it was biologically inaccurate. Women's eggs don't drop, they're released through ovulation, a much more complex process. The eggs are released during ovulation as part of the menstrual cycle. The term, dropping, oversimplifies the process and shows a lack of understanding about female anatomy. The controversy wasn't just about biology, it was about a deeper issue, the family's education on sexual health. The Brown family has often been open about their strict religious beliefs and how they shape their lives. But for many, their approach to sex education raised concerns. "Janelle, we grew up with a very strict understanding of the world, especially when it came to marriage and family. With such a rigid upbringing, it's no surprise that the Browns' understanding of sex, health, and anatomy may be limited. Their religious teachings didn't always include comprehensive sex education, leaving many gaps in their knowledge." Kody, faith is the foundation of everything we do. And that includes how we view relationships and family. But when it comes to understanding biology, faith can't fill in the gaps. And it's clear that the Browns' lack of formal education on the topic has had a lasting effect. As the Reddit thread exploded, media outlets began picking up on the story. The comment about eggs dropping became a viral sensation. Experts weighed in, and the public's criticism grew louder. It's important that public figures, especially those with large platforms, understand the responsibility they have when discussing topics like sex and biology. Kody's comment only highlights the need for better education on the subject. The reaction wasn't just a few scattered comments. It turned into a full-blown conversation about sex education, responsibility, and the dangers of misinformation. Fans weren't just mocking Kody, they were questioning how much the family truly knew about the subject. But the twist came when the Brown family was forced to address the controversy head-on. How would they react to the backlash? Would they acknowledge their lack of knowledge on the subject? "Kody, I didn't think it would get this much attention. I guess I underestimated how much people care about this stuff. What followed was a surprisingly candid discussion about the family's struggles with navigating the complexities of sex education. Kody admitted that his own understanding was lacking, and the wives revealed how difficult it had been to talk openly about sexual health within the family. Robin, we've never really had a proper discussion about sex education, and it's something I think we all need to work on. In the aftermath of the comment, the Browns faced emotional fallout, not just from fans, but from the larger conversation about sex education in the United States. Fans were disappointed, but they also saw an opportunity for change. It was clear, people wanted more from the Browns than just entertainment. They wanted the family to acknowledge the importance of proper sex education, not only for themselves but for their millions of viewers. If you believe that education is the key to breaking the cycle of misinformation, share this video and join the conversation. Let's make sure we're all better informed, and that includes Kody and the Browns. In the end, the Browns' lack of understanding about basic biology may have been an embarrassing moment for them. But for the rest of us, it was a wake-up call. Sex education isn't something that should be ignored. It's a critical conversation we all need to have, especially with the next generation. The eggs dropping controversy may have been a slip-up, but it sparked a much-needed discussion. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, it will lead to real change. What do you think? Was Kody's comment a mistake? What should we do about sex education? Let us know in the comments below. Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. In the beginning, it all seemed so perfect. Janelle Brown, the first wife, was the glue that held everything together. She was the hard-working, loyal wife who believed in the vision that Kody painted for the family. Janelle, I thought we were building something strong, something that would last. We had dreams, we were united. But somewhere along the way, things started to fall apart. Janelle was a woman who put her faith in the family she helped build. She sacrificed everything, her time, her resources, and her future, believing that her investment would be returned. But what she didn't know was that her sacrifices were about to turn into her greatest regrets. What did Janelle not see coming? The shocking betrayal that would leave her questioning everything. It all began with a debt. Kody promised to pay Janelle back for the financial support she'd given the family. But the promise was never kept. The debt remained unpaid, and the bond of trust began to unravel. Reddit exploded with reactions. Fans were outraged. One user wrote, "How could he do this to her? She's been there from the start, and now he's just ignoring her." The comments piled up, each one calling out Kody's lack of accountability. But was it just about money? Or was there something more at play here? But the financial betrayal was only the beginning. In one of the most shocking moments on Sister Wives, Kody Brown made a comment that would leave viewers stunned. He casually mentioned, "eggs dropping," a phrase that seemed to expose his ignorance of basic biological knowledge. It was a comment that spiraled into a viral firestorm. Fans quickly pointed out that Kody's words were biologically inaccurate. Women's eggs don't drop. The process of ovulation is far more complex. Fans mocked the Brown family's understanding of sex education, pointing to their strict religious upbringing as the root cause. How could someone with such a massive platform make such an ignorant comment? And what does it say about the Brown family's approach to education? The comment didn't just go unnoticed. It sparked outrage across media channels, with critics accusing the Browns of perpetuating misinformation. But what was even more troubling was the realization that their religious beliefs, and their lack of proper sex education, had influenced how they spoke about such sensitive topics. Sex education isn't just about biology, it's about understanding human relationships, responsibility, and respect. The lack of this education can have profound consequences, not only on personal lives but on a public platform. What happens when public figures with millions of viewers make mistakes like this? How does it affect the community they influence? To understand this scandal, we need to look deeper. The Browns have often talked about their strict religious upbringing, one that shaped their worldview. But what happens when such an upbringing limits the most basic education? For Janelle and the other wives, the gap in their understanding of biology and relationships was apparent. Robin, we didn't have the kind of education most people would expect. It was always about faith and family, not biology or anatomy. Faith, it seemed, was their foundation. But when it came to sex education, it became clear that it was built on shaky ground. For years, the family had been living in a bubble, unprepared for the complexities of the real world. Could this ignorance have been avoided? Was there a way for the Browns to break free from the limitations of their upbringing? As the backlash grew, the Browns faced mounting pressure to address the controversy. For Janelle, the financial betrayal was bad enough, but this was personal. Kody, I realize now that my comment was inappropriate and misleading. I never meant to offend anyone. We are committed to learning and growing, and we will do better. But was the apology enough? For many fans, the damage had been done. The Brown family was left to pick up the pieces of their public image. Could the Browns ever recover from this? Was an apology enough to heal the damage done? In the end, the Browns were forced to confront the flaws in their family dynamic. For Janelle, it was a wake-up call. She could no longer rely on the promises that Kody made. She had to take control of her own future. Janelle's journey is far from over. Her struggle for respect, financial stability, and self-worth continues. The Browns may never be the same. But for Janelle, it's a new chapter, a chance to build something for herself. Janelle Brown's journey began long before the cameras started rolling. She was the first wife of Kody Brown, and she entered the marriage with the belief that they were building a life together. She wasn't just a wife, she was a partner, contributing to the family's success in ways that most people don't see. But the cracks in their relationship began to show long before the public ever knew. Janelle, I thought I was doing the right thing, supporting Kody and the family. I wanted to build something that would last. But after years of giving, I started questioning, was this what I signed up for? Was I ever truly appreciated? Janelle's journey wasn't just about her role as a wife. It was about the sacrifices she made, sacrifices that went unnoticed, and promises that remained unfulfilled. Janelle's story is one of love, loss, and the harsh realization that loyalty doesn't always come with the reward you expect. As she sat in those quiet moments, her heart weighed down with years of unmet expectations, the questions became harder to ignore. But as if the emotional weight of financial betrayal wasn't enough, Kody Brown's comment on national television about eggs dropping took things to a whole new level. The Brown family's ignorance of reproductive health wasn't just an unfortunate mistake, it became a symbol of something much larger. The moment Kody said, "eggs dropping," it set off a firestorm. On Reddit, fans immediately began picking apart his words, pointing out the glaring biological inaccuracies. But the conversation quickly shifted. This wasn't just about one ill-informed comment. It was about the lack of education surrounding such important topics. The backlash was swift, with fans accusing the family of perpetuating dangerous misconceptions about sex and reproduction. When Kody said that, "eggs drop," it oversimplified a complex biological process. It showed a lack of understanding of how women's bodies work. It's important for public figures, especially those with a platform, to be careful when talking about subjects like this. But the damage had been done. Fans didn't just laugh at Kody's mistake, they saw it as a glaring example of how the family's religious beliefs and lack of proper sex education had shaped their views on sexual health. To understand the depths of this issue, we must look back at the religious foundation that the Brown family built their lives upon. For them, faith was everything. But when it came to important topics like sex education, their faith didn't always provide the answers. Robin: "In my upbringing, we were taught about faith, about family. But when it came to things like sexual health, it wasn't really discussed. It was more about what you should or shouldn't do, rather than understanding why things happen." Faith is powerful, but when it's used to shield families from learning about their bodies and relationships in a healthy, informed way, it can cause serious long-term consequences. Janelle: "Growing up, I wasn't taught about my own body in the way I should have been. I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't have the knowledge to ask the right questions." Janelle's realization wasn't just about Kody's comment. It was about the deep-rooted lack of education that had shaped her entire life. And as the family's spotlight grew brighter, it became clear that they weren't the only ones in need of education. Comprehensive sex education is about more than teaching biology. It's about empowering individuals to understand their bodies, their relationships, and their rights. It's about creating a foundation of respect, responsibility, and healthy decision-making. Without it, people are left to figure things out on their own, and often, they get it wrong. The Browns, despite their fame, are not immune to the consequences of misinformation. In fact, their public missteps shed light on a broader issue in America today: the lack of comprehensive, accurate sex education. What happened next was a groundswell of public reaction. Fans didn't just mock Kody, they demanded accountability. It was clear that the need for education was urgent. What will the Browns do to address the growing criticism? Can they change the narrative? As the backlash mounted, Kody was forced to confront the reality of his comment. In a rare moment of vulnerability, he apologized for his words, acknowledging the harm they caused. "Kody, I didn't mean to offend anyone. I made a mistake, and I am sorry. I realize now that I need to educate myself and be more responsible with the platform I have." But was this apology enough to repair the damage? For many fans, the truth had been revealed, not just about Kody, but about the entire family's lack of understanding. The Browns couldn't just apologize. They needed to show they were willing to learn and grow. Janelle: "I don't know if this is enough. We've all been living in a bubble, and it's time we woke up." The fallout from the "eggs dropping" scandal wasn't just about one comment. It was about everything that came before it: years of silence, ignorance, and missed opportunities for growth. And for Janelle, The consequences were personal. As the family tried to pick up the pieces, Janelle began to make decisions that would change her life forever. No longer willing to wait for Kody to make good on his promises, Janelle chose to take control of her own destiny. Janelle, I've given so much of myself. Now it's time for me to find out who I am beyond this family. I need to live for me, not for Kody or anyone else. Janelle's journey of self-discovery and independence was a long time coming. But as she took her first steps toward reclaiming her life, the world watched. What do you think? Was Kody's comment a mistake, or is there more to the story? Let us know in the comments below. Join us as we continue to follow Janelle's journey. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates on this ongoing story.